no. Oh God, no. No.
Oh, wow.
No. 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 Oh God, no. No. Oh. No, please. Not cats, oh my God, no. No, no. 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 Oh God, no, please. Please, no. No! James Corden video, yeah? James Corden video, yeah? Oh God, here we go, okay. The case of James Corden is a social phenomenon, lightning in a bottle. I don't think I've known a celebrity to be so universally hated. Anytime he's brought up, people always have something negative to say about the man. But regardless of what people think about James, he somehow seems to be everywhere. Just somehow everywhere. Everything everywhere all at once.
Everywhere I go, I see his face.
Right, let's see here. Late night hosting, American TV, British TV, award ceremonies, American films, British films. The man was in the Emoji Movie, for God's sake. The Emoji Movie!
The notion of them being emojis is just a jumping off point. These are just characters with spirits and souls and hearts and minds, and you're really, once you get past the notion of you're watching lots of emojis, they're just characters.
It's safe to say that James has done a lot throughout his career. Maybe too much. What I'm trying to say is James's countless projects and appearances everywhere has only really backfired on him. It almost feels like common human understanding that James is, for lack of a better word, a dickhead. Actually no, not lack of a better word. That is a good word, dickhead. Take this recent quote from Mel B of the Spice Girls, calling James the biggest dickhead in Hollywood. I think you always have to be nice to people you work with. Whether it be production, camera guys, sound, lighting. We work for the same thing. So you should always be nice, and he hasn't been very nice. Okay, you might be thinking, how did the man who does all the carpool karaoke videos get labelled as the biggest dickhead in Hollywood? Right class, get your notebooks and pens out, because this is your first lesson, and let's be honest, hopefully last, in the subject of Cordenology. Yes, I just made that up. And there will be an exam at the end, and if you fail, you're not going to get into university. Oh, I know, I'm sorry, it's tough, isn't it? Right, in calling James the biggest dickhead in Hollywood, Mel B brings up the main critique that most people have against Corden. That being that allegedly, can't stress this enough, allegedly, he is a horrible person to work for. To the point where he can't even name the staff that he works with every day.
Name 2 of the cameramen in this room.
This is very similar to a lot of the talk show hosts in the talk show host cinematic universe. In particular, Ellen DeGeneres. Think about it. She spends years as a prominent TV personality, mostly well liked. She has her own talk show, she does voice acting, she stars in a sitcom in which she wrote, only for it all to crumble once the truth comes out about what she's really like behind the camera, and then everybody hates her now. Oh my God, I solved it! Talk show hosts, voice acting, sitcoms, bullies, allegedly. Well, on second thought, it's a little bit more complex than that. You see, when Ellen was in her peak slay era, it seemed a lot of people had a good opinion of her, until all the stuff came out.
I am so sad, and I am so angry.
I would argue that people had a seething hatred towards James, way before he went to America and had his Ellen-style cancellation. I don't think James Corden being hated so much comes down to one singular moment. It's the bigger picture. It's not just him shouting at a restaurant. It's not just him being mean to his staff. There's something bigger at play here. A lot of the people that don't like him, they don't know why. He has an aura, a chakra, pheromones that just exude cringe.
James Corden. I don't know why, I just don't like this guy.
Oh my God. Right, so I'm gonna have to go to the very beginning to figure this all out. So class, turn your Cordenology textbooks to page 1. There is so much more to this. So much more.
Flop or flop, James Corden?
Flop.
Why?
He's funny, but he's cringe.
If you had one message to James Corden, what would you say?
Be better.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, James.
Even when I see him in a commercial, just merely advertising something, my brain starts to melt down and my stomach churns. I just can't really handle James Corden in any way, shape, or form.
It's the kind of try-hardiness. It's always an act.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times James Corden was a wanker.
It's the whole talking like that and going. It's the driving like that.
And I hate it so much. I hate it.
James Corden has no idea that I exist, but I cannot stand that man. I can't stand him.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly.
Part 1. Corden conquers Britain. So, James Corden's big break over here in the UK came in the form of the BBC Three sitcom show Gavin and Stacey. For those who are unfamiliar with it, the show centred around a young couple, one called Gavin and the other one called... Oh, see what they did there? Stacey lives in the seaside Welsh town of Barry Island, and Gavin lives in Essex. The two meet for the first time in episode 1, and from there, the show explores the ins and outs of navigating a long-term relationship, gives us some insight into British life, and provides some gifs and gaffs along the way, with lots and lots of Welsh accents.
My niece went to Greece. All I got was this lousy t-shirt.
In the show, Corden plays the character of Smithy. He's your run-of-your-mill Essex geezer. In the narrative, Smithy acts as best friend and wingman to Gavin, but mostly, Smithy is a reminder of Gavin's life back in Essex away from his girlfriend, as the plot revolves around the division between the two families.
Get back down here! How are we getting away from her like the bitches of Eastwick?
The character of Smithy provides some good dramatic moments in the show, which drive the story, but most of the time it just feels like Smithy is there for James to live vicariously through him.
Are you asking me to step into Christmas, we can watch the snow fall forever and ever?
It is also important to note that Corden wrote the script for the show with close friend Ruth Jones. So you can say Corden and Jones were almost the auteurs to Gavin and Stacey. The show was very successful in the UK. Immediately after the end of its second series in 2008, The Guardian actually described the show as BBC Three's biggest breakout comedy hit since Little Britain. Oh.
Have another Bacardi and Coke, please, my Vanway.
After the success of Gavin and Stacey, people fell in love with the character of Smithy. I honestly couldn't tell you why. I think Smithy is the worst part of the show, to be honest. But anyway, since Gavin and Stacey, James is the new hot commodity in the UK for a bit. Him and the actor who played Gavin, Matthew Horn, tried to ride the wave of Gavin and Stacey, with an unfunny appearance on the Brit Awards, an even more unfunny sketch show, which seems to be wiped from the internet. This is literally the highest quality clip I could find. Oh, and an extremely unfunny film called, get this, Lesbian Vampire Killers. That really shows the emotional maturity James had at the time.
More powerful than you will ever imagine.
And with that, he lopped her fucking head off.
If your career had to begin again...
Oh God.
Yeah. What would you do differently?
The Lesbian Vampire Killers. I would not be in that film.
I'm sure James has a lot of regrets about this period of his life. In fact, after looking more into this, it's interesting to look back on the first known hatred of James. This particular article is the earliest example I could find. It dates back to March 2009. Horn and Corden isn't just bad, it actually made me feel a bit depressed, wrote one newspaper critic. This really was the beginning of the end for James, which is funny because he's only really just started. I remember witnessing James Corden's rise to fame here in the UK. I think my earliest memory is probably Doctor Who, 2010. Honestly, Doctor Who peaked there. It's so good. It's clear that at the time, regardless of the bad quality of his output, Corden really was the new big thing that every network wanted a slice of. I'm sure the higher ups in the UK industry just absolutely loved him. Yeah, okay, so we need someone to host the Brit Awards. I know. Why don't we get that Gavin and Stacey guy, yeah? James Corden? I know. Let's get him to do it 5 times. It's strange. James does all this work and dominates the British industry, but the more I look into this, the more it seems like James has always been quite rude. Like this anecdote from a Reddit AMA, which we'll get into later. Saw League of Their Own, which is like James's panel show, filming live. Through multiple tantrums over minor things at the production staff, with him being incredibly rude to them, which made the other regulars seem very awkward like it was usual. Between each take, the other celebs would be chatting amongst themselves, bantering about, but James was glued to his phone. And then they go on to say, seeing him like that, it made me realise everything you see on TV is a complete persona. And really, his natural personality is just a complete self-entitled Jeez, oh my god, that's crazy. It just shows like a celebrity's real personality can be just awful in person, but as long as they switch it on as soon as the camera starts rolling, it's all good. Like nothing could stop James from getting more and more successful after that. Whether you wanted it or not, James Corden was a huge success. He was in every British award show, he had a cameo in everything for some reason. But you must remember, because of his immaturity at the time, the more stuff that he did, it was only more reasons for people to hate him. Like he goes on the Brit Awards and it's like, ugh, why is he dance like that? And in the end, when he does all that stuff, it just kind of snowballs into people saying stuff like, oh, that James Corden, no, I don't like that James Corden, I think he's a right swat. This is what happens with a lot of celebrities who just force themselves onto every programme and force themselves onto every billboard, look at me kind of thing. I already mentioned the ridiculous amount of Brit Award ceremonies that he did. So let's move on to the real mask-off moment for James. Sorry, I just love this bit so much. I could have done the whole video just on this. So imagine it, it's 2010, it's the Glamour Awards, and the award is Best Film Actress. And the two presenters are James Corden and Sir Patrick Stewart. And for some reason, Sir Patrick just refuses to announce the winner of the awards until James has been taught a lesson in grace and decorum.
I want to speak to James here. It's James, isn't it? When the presenters are up here and when the recipients are receiving their awards, don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong. Oh, genuinely.
James's British is really sticking out here. He sounds like an extra from Oliver Twist. You couldn't be more wrong, sir.
And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it. There we go.
After this, Sir Patrick just keeps going for some reason.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
Now we see Sir Patrick Stewart desperately trying to find a punchline for another joke.
One more. Do you want one more? If you fancy the Jonas Brothers, cover your belly.
I love them. Get on with it. I love that. The winner of the award, Zoe Saldana, tries to defuse the whole belly situation.
For whatever it's worth, I like your belly, so.
I like your belly. Also, the whole time, James and Patrick are just in the background.
But.
The people that haven't seen my belly, is there anyone who hasn't got a... It's just there.
Very cringe on both sides. Cringe is a key word in this Cordenology class.
From where I was sitting, I can see your belly.
I think for me, the craziest thing is that James's on and off camera personalities are so obviously different. Like on his talk show, he's almost a caricature of a James Corden that he himself has invented. He's just so fucking fake. He's just so fucking fake. That's not to excuse Sir Patrick Stewart, because I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. Like, indeed, kind of questionable, like, kind of edging on fat phobia, kind of.
If you fancy the Jonas Brothers, cover your belly.
Like, what is... Oh my god. Right, just to recap, class, we've settled that James on camera is a lovable British fellow, and off camera, he's a dickhead. And he's made some quite poor decisions that you think would impact his career quite a lot more. But the studio system, they don't care about that. They just care about money. And James makes them lots of money. Because he's funny. Money.
We've got to have money.
All of the projects that James did in this period of his life only really became popular in the UK. So I don't think all of the stuff that he's done so far contributes much to his eventual reputation in America. Like when he goes to America, he kind of starts anew, he starts afresh. But I think we've established a pattern of behaviour for James that will just keep popping up later. He's got a bit of a bratty attitude. He has a kind of compulsion to do every project that comes his way. And regardless of people's disdain for him, he just keeps evolving. Oh my god, help, he's evolving, help! Oh my god, help! Oh my god, he's too evolved! Oh my god, he won a Tony! After winning a Tony for the play One Man, Two Governors. Oh my god, that's a very British name for a play.
Oh, blimey! Seen by the Queen. That's got to be good. We've got to go watch that.
James somehow finds himself in the Disney adaptation of Stephen Sondheim's musical Into the Woods. It's a great musical, love it, it's a bop. But James...
That's what you said. And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.
This is probably just me, but it just takes me out of it. Like, it doesn't feel right. Like, he plays the character of the baker and he narrates the whole thing. So it's just...
I wish.
And in this village
More than anything.
lived a young maiden.
More than life.
Like, that aura of cringe that James brings spreads to this. But, performance aside, once James dipped his little English boy toesies in the Disney pool, everything changed. Everything.
But I'm telling you the same I tell kings and queens. Don't ever, never, ever mess around with my greens. Especially the beans.
Part 2. Corden spreads overseas. Oh my god, it gets so much worse, honestly. Why did I do this video? I've been working on this video since November, but I have no idea when this video comes out, so let's just say it's been a while. A long while. This isn't even a real microphone. This is a lav mic taped to a microphone. Anyway, after doing research for this video and everything, it's so weird to see how back then the American media were trying to push James Corden onto everyone. Like, the Americans had no idea who he was, but they gave him a talk show, so they have to kind of like make sure everyone knows who he is. He went on Vogue, and they just said, yeah, like, to boost his career, we'll dress him up, all fancy, and cover him in flour. Yeah, let's cover him in flour. Because, you know, he played the baker in Into the Woods. And I'm just guessing, I have no idea whether they thought of Into the Woods, or they just, like, kind of pushed this, like, baker aesthetic. It's very weird, very weird. Well, I guess the flour did its magic because the American media started to recognise James Corden for what he was, from Into the Woods and Two Governors. And with that, James Corden was announced as the new host of The Late Late Show after the departure of Craig Ferguson on the 8th of September 2014. And he's still there today. Jesus Christ. His presence as a late night host really boosted his career. Boosted it like some black market steroids. Suddenly he's not making like humble little cameos and appearances on British TV. He truly is everywhere. Oh look, James is playing a hand in the Emoji Movie. Oh look, James is thrusting his hips at me dressed as a mouse. Oh look, James is in a musical. Oh look, James is in Trolls. Oh look, James is doing carpool karaoke with Adele. Oh, I do like a bit of Adele. Oh look, James is in another musical. Oh look, James is in Peter Rabbit. Oh look, James is in a musical again. Again. Oh look, James is playing Nothing Compares to You at a Coldplay concert.
Since you took your love away.
See that there, look. Oh, I hate that. Did they do the bob? You know, you sort of stick your foot out and go. Did they do that?
I can't really do the movement sitting down, but it's like, ooh. It's like, ooh. Ooh. Like, imagine being a Coldplay fan. You're living in LA, you finally get to see them in concert, and then, oh, James Corden's there. Why is he there? Why is he there? Like, this seems to happen a lot. Like, James goes out and about in Hollywood, so a lot of the people that live there, they all have stories of, like, how rude and kind of cringe James can be. So it's clear that James's reputation of being a dickhead didn't take too long to come true in America. And if you want evidence of this, you have to look no further than the Reddit AMA James did in 2019. Long story short, I think the producers of The Late Late Show thought it would be a good idea to do an AMA Ask Me Anything on Reddit in 2019 to boost the ratings of the show, I guess. Like, that's never going to go well. It's never, regardless if you're James Corden or not, it's just never gonna work out. And it didn't work out. Like, I think this AMA is a perfect demonstration of how James's career was going so far in America. These comments, honestly, they deserve a dramatic reading. Hey James, why are you classed as a comedian when you're not funny? James, are you aware that everyone thinks you're a hack and a talentless asshat? James, I haven't the faintest idea who you are really, but Reddit assured me you're an arsehole. Ever thought about coming back to the UK? And if so, what can we do to stop you? Why do you treat your fans like shit? Did you know that if you acknowledge the claims that you're not a nice person and tackle them head on and talk about it from your point of view is way better for your PR than just ignoring them? Massive in person. Hi James, sorry I'm late to the party, but you've not answered many yet. Maybe you're on your phone. Anyway, is this pop bitch article true? And if we click that link, it takes us to this, which also deserves a dramatic reading. A flying fuck. Tales from the cockpit. Half an hour into a New York to London flight, passengers in business class notice a woman with a crying baby being brought through the curtains by a flight attendant. They looked in mild horror as they saw the attendant direct her to an empty seat next to James Corden. Expecting a huge celebrity hissy fit to kick off, Corden's cabin mates were impressed to see that he didn't say a word or make any sort of complaint. He simply put on a pair of noise-cancelling headphones, pulled an eye mask over his eyes, and turned away from her to sleep. Pretty decent of him, right? When the plane landed though, passengers were surprised to see Corden remain seated as the woman with the baby struggled to open the overhead locker. And even more surprised when she turned to Corden and said, "For fuck's sake, can you just at least hold the baby while I get the bags down?" The woman was his wife. It was his baby. I don't care if it's real or not. I love it. It just paints such a picture. It's like poetry. It just demonstrates what he's really like off camera. And as soon as he gets in that carpool karaoke car, something switches in him. Like all of a sudden he just starts rapping with Iggy Azalea. But like he does it to the point where he's almost overcompensating. Like it's so cringe to watch.
He does this wee fucking hand gesture thing that is fucking horrible. That there! That on it, but that there. That on it, that. I don't even think she tries that hard.
Okay, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Carpool karaoke can't be that bad. Like they get millions of views. He's all over my YouTube recommendations.
My name is Trisha. My hair is shine.
Okay, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. It's trash. But to be fair to the guests, most of the cringe, it comes from James himself. The guests just seem to sit there whilst he sings obnoxiously loud. And I know he doesn't even drive the car, but do you really want him to kill Paul McCartney as soon as he starts singing and takes his hands off the wheel?
Yes, I'm gonna be a star. Whoa! Baby, you can drive my car.
No, nobody wants that. We love Paul McCartney. Because as soon as Paul dies, the only Beatle we have left is Ringo. And nobody wants Ringo. I sound like a Beatles fan. I'm not a Beatles fan. I don't care about the Beatles. Hey Jude, make it right. I remember people being actually angry that he doesn't drive the car.
But the one that hurt the most was when I got called a liar, right? And that was by the Twitter user Ascase, okay?
Just further proof that maybe the James Corden hate isn't always warranted, but most of the time it is. Just shut up and have fun. The mind-numbingly fun content. Aren't you having fun? Is this fun content? More fun? Did you say you want more fun content? Do you want more? Do you want more? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? It's fun, isn't it? James Corden, yeah, fun. Okay, class, I think it's clear now. Most of the Western world has heard of James Corden. And for a multitude of reasons, whether it be his on-set behaviour, his airplane antics, his cringe overcompensating, or his belly, they've decided they just don't like him. Part 3. The world hates you. Now what? It seems audiences always crave this idea of the perfect celebrity. And looking into James's decline into, I guess you could call it unlikability, it's clear that this perfect celebrity is one whose division between on and off camera isn't so noticeable. A celebrity whose persona is consistent with what the audience want them to be. With a talk show, audiences want interesting interviews, funny moments, a good host, that is a host who's not running around and doing the most to the point of cringe like James is doing. That's why a lot of the celebrities that people like tend to get labelled with the term relatable, because they're just like me. But with James, he's nothing like you. In fact, when you watch James on stage, there's like this sense of desperation in his eyes. It's just so hard to watch this kind of shell of a person laugh so obnoxiously loud and tell jokes that he obviously didn't write.
And then realise that no one was interested to first.
Nice one, James. Who wrote that one? Who wrote that one? That's a cracker. Who wrote that one?
I think James has come at a point in his career where the more he does, it's just more fuel to the cringe fire. This is a symptom of a lot of internet hatred, because once people have made a conscious decision that they don't like you, there's nothing that you can do right. I would say my plan for James, please just do less. Please, just do less, please. He's even gone on record to say that he says yes to too many projects, so I guess this is James's fault. Do you remember Gavin and Stacey? That was good, wasn't it? You had a good thing there, James. You had a good thing. Before the Emoji Movie, before the Reddit AMA, before the belly. Why don't you just go back to that, yeah? Just go back to that. Because look at it this way, James, and I'm talking to James directly now, James, the less you saturate the market with your presence and plant yourself on every possible project, the less ways people are going to find a reason to hate you. Because remember when you went to America and you went off to start fresh, it only took a year for the Americans to find a reason to despise you. That being said, it's only really a matter of time before James plays like Edna from Hairspray or just does another talk show. Like, he just can't help himself. He's a madman. Like, it's just an endless cycle. James does something cringe, gets traction for it, gradually fades away. He does something cringe again because he just can't help himself. Then he gets traction for it, and then it fades away. But I don't want to make it sound like James is like a Disney villain. He's literally a talk show host. Like, he's literally just a man. Just floating around. And if the bad behaviour that he exhibits is because of like mental health or the pressures of being a celebrity, that's valid. That's completely valid. But wouldn't it be like a better strategy to just say that instead of continuing to hump people in the middle of the street? Like, don't hump people in the middle of the street, James. Stop doing it.
Stop it. Get some help.
And trust me, James, the way things are going, you're going to want to take my advice, because Gen Z, they're close to bringing back the guillotine in the town square, and you're one hip thrust away from Gen Z hating you forever. First, they'll eat the rich, and when there's no rich left, they're coming for the cringe talk show hosts. Just kidding, it's not that serious. Just stop being cringe, James, because it's filling up my YouTube recommendations. Alright, that's class dismissed. You can head out now. Throw away your Cordenology textbooks. You'll never need them again. Okay, I'm gonna head out. I'll play you out with a song. And James, if you're watching this, bye. 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 Bye, James.
Don't stand at the back of the stage with your hands in your pockets, looking around as though you wished you were anywhere but here.
Oh, you couldn't be more wrong, sir. You couldn't be more wrong. Oh, genuinely. And if it looked like that, I'm so sorry. But when you come up and present an award, just get on with it. There we go.
I can see your belly. From where I was sitting, I can see your belly.
You couldn't be more wrong.
One more? Do you want one more? I can see your belly.
Oh, genuinely.
Your belly. If you fancy the Jonas Brothers, cover your belly.